So if we could just start off by you telling me your current year and your major.
I'm currently a sophomore and my major is elementary education.
Perfect. Could you describe what factors or experiences influenced you to choose that program?
Well, actually, I went into college planning on doing a double major with environmental science and wildlife ecology.
Okay.
And I recently switched to elementary education within like the past month, because STEM classes weren't working out for me and I've always wanted to be a teacher. So I decided to go that route.
Sure. Sounds good. What's been your overall experience with your degree program? I know, you're only a sophomore, but what's been your experience so far?
I haven't had too much. I haven't really done that much towards my actual degree yet, just because I recently switched to it.
Yep.
Most of my college.
Is this your first year then? No, that's okay. Sorry to interrupt. Is this your first year as a education major then?
Yeah, it's my first, I haven't even had a semester with classes for education.
Fair enough.
I've been on an environmental science track, so I came into college with a lot of my general education credits met from IB, so most of my time in college has been taking different classes that I've been interested in and working towards environmental science major.
Excellent. Great. So I know it probably seems like a long way off graduation, but do you have any plans for either employment or continuing your education after you graduate?
Well, I would ideally be like manage some sort of outreach for kids, but specifically environmental outreach would be super cool, but definitely want to get my master's in education once I graduate with my bachelor's. And it's just a 1-year master's program, so that's my plan.
Excellent. Is that a program at Florida?
Up until recently it was, but now you can do it online anywhere.
Okay. Excellent. Great. Thank you. So these next series of questions, like I mentioned earlier, these are going to relate more to, again, I realize that you're only a sophomore, so you probably haven't had a ton of classes that relate to some of the stuff we'll talk about. But like I said, that's totally fine. And I know, you're in Dr. Stein's class right now. So even if it's just from that experience, that's totally fine. So when I mentioned, because I'm going to mention parks and protected areas in these questions, and just know that, this could mean anything from, state parks to national forests to national parks, wilderness areas. So just kind of keep that in mind that when I mention parks and protected areas, I'm really just talking about any kind of natural protected area. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Perfect. So what experience have you had with coursework that's involved aspects of parks and protected areas?
Well, going into college, I was taking some just simple wildlife ecology courses. So that kind of went into it a little bit. I looked at, I studied how different animals are affected and invasive species and stuff. And I also took a forestry course so that we discussed, forests, the parks of forests, but,
yep.
And then my ecotourism course.
Okay, great. In any of those courses, or even from your own experience, did they speak about any specific management frameworks or management strategies?
Yeah, my ecotourism class is mainly based around how to manage recreation.
Okay.
Yeah, both for managing for the environment, but also managing so people can be getting into the environment and not damaging it, but still appreciating it.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you remember any kind of specific concepts or themes related to the management aspects?
Well, there's zoning and different objectives you want to give opportunities for recreation. It's not like you're just giving activities. That was the main point of his class, is that opportunities are the main thing instead of just simply an activity like a paddleboard or something.
Sure. Okay. Great. What other themes maybe or concepts do you remember from any coursework related to parks and protected areas?
Just like some stuff on managing how to like minimize the effects of humans on recreation. So like limits of acceptable change. We talked about that.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, that's a specific management strategy. That's great. Anything else that you remember?
Recreation opportunity spectrum, the ROS.
Yep.
And we also studied different things like trail tread and how to build trails and campgrounds and the different things that you need to factor into that, and also like interpretation and how to create interpretation signs and the best way to speak to people about recreation.
Okay, excellent. So there was a little bit of kind of educational and interpretation aspect involved. Mm-hmm. Yeah, excellent. So again, this next question could be related to what you've learned in your courses or even from your own experience. But I'm curious to hear, what issues or problems you think exist in parks and protected areas.
I feel like one of the main issues that exist is just people being ignorant towards what hurts the earth and what doesn't.
Okay.
So a lot of people will just go to these parks and they're like, great, it's nature, but they don't really care if they, throw their trash somewhere or, let their dog run off leash and damage the trail system. So I think a large part is just people not knowing the proper rules and regulations for how to best take care of the environment while recreating in it.
Okay. Excellent. Any other issues or problems you think exist?
Well, there's a lot. Recently with COVID, I'd say overcrowding is definitely becoming more of an issue, especially with trail degradation and people having to like walk further around other people to pass them on trails. So just going slightly off trail, but still damaging the surrounding ecosystem.
Sure.
And also just people not being able to enjoy these parks as much because so many people are flooding them now.
Okay. So to kind of maybe elaborate a little bit, and you kind of touched on this just now, but how do you think COVID has impacted, people going outside and things like that?
I think it's been a positive impact for people going outside more and recreating more and having more exercise and activities. But obviously, with the greater volume of people in the parks and protected areas, then you're going to have more damage to the areas.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Just out of curiosity, are there, a lot of, I'll use the term natural areas, but are there like a lot of parks and forests or something around the campus where you are?
Yeah, pretty close. You can find like good primitive camping spots less than 40 minutes away where you can't like hear anybody, and usually you don't have too many encounters.
Okay, nice. So you can find some solitude if you need to.
Yeah.
Excellent. Great, thank you. So this next question kind of deals with, again, kind of your overall education so far. And again, I realize that you're just a couple years in, barely. But if you could just mention some of the other courses that you've taken in your last, year and a half or so, either, these could be directly related to your degree program or any other just, maybe university requirement classes or things like that.
Yeah, I had to take chemistry. And let's see, I'm in public speaking this semester. I've also taken philosophy, so just like general credits I've needed. I was missing a few. Microeconomics.
Okay.
I feel like I should have an easier time remembering the classes I've taken.
I know these semesters, they seem like a long time ago, even the previous one. So that's okay. Remind me, I forget if you mentioned it. So did you start off as an environmental science major?
Yeah, I started off double majoring for environmental science and wildlife ecology. Then I switched to natural resource conservation, and now I'm in education.
Okay. Bouncing around. That's great. I did the same thing. I switched between 3 different majors before I started something. So I understand.
Yeah.